Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in to this week's episode of the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. And damn it, we've got another big one. Like we've been talking the last few weeks, we are full into fantasy football mode. I'm your host, Matt Kobold, joined by Zach Wodlowski again, and my guy, Max Faulkner. Max, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, nothing much, Go Breezy. It's been a good day. We went to the doctor today, and you know what, Zach? I haven't even told you yet. I'm gonna bring it up here on the podcast. Claudia and I are having a baby. We're having a baby.
And, Congratulations, Max.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I haven't really told many people, and I guess I'm gonna start announcing it now. So yeah, we're having a baby. We're really excited. We got to hear the heartbeat today, and it was it's beautiful. It was just beautiful. So things are going really well over here, Cole Breezy. How about you guys? How are you guys doing?
Dude, that's awesome. That's great to hear. You've told me before, but that's awesome that the progress is going great. Can't wait to hear more about it, Max. Zach, what's going on with you down there, brother?
Well, nothing much. Just itching to get into these rankings.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Speaking of those rankings, Max, what kind of rankings we got today?
Ooh, we got wide receivers, everybody.
Ooh.
Arguably everyone's favorite position in fantasy football. I like running backs. I'm going to be honest. I'm a big running back guy, especially for fantasy football. I've always been running back heavy. Keep 2 running backs. I'll even draft a running back in my first round, 3 running backs right off the bat. But now I'm really starting to lean to those wide receivers because you need some top dogs. It's a passing league, boys. It is a passing league. You need some top dogs if you want to be winning your fantasy football championship, which I have not done yet.
Max, I'm right there with you. Of course, I've not won our league either. But yeah, the receivers are deep. We were just talking about it. We made a top 30 to get a consensus top 20, and we would be satisfied with any of these guys in the top 30. A lot of guys. Each team has 2-3 receivers being thrown out there. Zach, what do you think about the receivers as a whole?
Well, it's a very important position in football, as we know. No, we got some great receivers here, especially in this top 30. Like we said, we'd be happy with any of them.
Yeah. And speaking of receiver, I went to Broncos training camp today.
Oh,
hey, shout out Broncos. Saw your guy Max Bo Nix hit Cortland Sutton in the corner, just a little one-on-one, you know. So Cortland Sutton, we're not going to talk about him today, but I just want to shout him out. I believe 10 tutties last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 10 touchdowns with I don't even know who the quarterback was.
Russell.
Oh, it was Russell. 2 poops. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, 10 tutties last year, boys. That's so we're not talking about him today, but Bo Nix, he could make Cortland Sutton more fantasy relevant. Max, you got anything on that?
Definitely. People, I'm telling you right now, when was Bo Nix drafted? 13th? Around that round?
Well, 12th or 13th.
12th or 13th? I think I think that top 10, they were sleeping. I think Bo Nix is going to be big time. Sean Payton as the coach. Cortland Sutton's a legit wide receiver. The Broncos got a little bit to do. Okay, don't get me wrong. It's a development season. Okay, they got to keep growing. But I think Bo Nix is going to be something. I really do. He broke a record, Cobra. Is he highest completion percentage in college or something like that? Yeah.
Very accurate. Very accurate at Oregon. Zach, lastly, before we get in these rankings, you going to spend up, go see the Broncos and Bo Nix this season? Tickets are out of the roof.
Yeah, I was looking later on in the season, and you get a little something if you want to sit in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Bring a tissue.
We'll see. But Broncos tickets are, when I looked about a month ago, outrageous. Just stupid. All right, boys. Like we said, we got a top 20 wide receiver countdown. The 3 of us gentlemen right here, we each sent in a top 30. So consensus for the Don't Tell Mama, we got a top 20 to go through from 20 to 1. The number 20 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast this year is going to be Los Angeles Ram Cooper Kupp. Now, we remember Cooper Kupp's big season. What was that, 2021? Yep, 2021. He had 145 catches for 1,947 yards and 16 touchdowns.
Wow.
My God, he can do it. Last year, he missed 5 games. Okay, but he was wide receiver 24 on a points per game basis. He's 31 years old. I'm the highest on Cooper Kupp. I got him 17th. Max is the lowest at 24th. Zach right in the middle with Cooper Kupp at 20th. I'll set the table for Cooper Kupp since I'm the highest. I just read his big season from 2021, Triple Crown winner from the wide receiver position. But yeah, the injuries they make me nervous. The ACL, the hamstring, the ankle. He's missed 23 games in his 7 seasons. That's a lot. But if he's out there, Matthew Stafford loves him. Last year, Cooper Kupp had more targets, receptions, and touchdowns in the red zone than Puka. When the Rams are getting in close, Matthew Stafford's looking for Cooper Kupp. Now, obviously, I've got Puka over Cooper Kupp. We all do. But I think he's going to be more of a factor than what maybe people are thinking. I'm the highest. Max, you're the lowest on Cooper Kupp. Why are you out on him, besides the injuries?
Well, I mean, okay, injuries. I think he's got bad ankles right now. Obviously that makes me nervous. Number two, literally what just came out today, Matthew Stafford got taken out during practice. He pulled a hammy. Okay. What, you're going to have Jimmy Garoppolo throwing to him? Hell no. Hell no. Okay. That definitely makes me nervous. I like Cooper Kupp. Okay. When you already touched out these stats when he had that unbelievable season, like 20, it's ridiculous. I would love to see it again. Okay. I would love to see it again, but I understand that there's going to be people like you, Cole Breezy, or some people in our league that are going to draft him high. Okay, they're going to draft him high. I wouldn't doubt him going in the first round. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it.
Not by me.
Well, that's not going to happen over here. So I am not going that high on him. I prefer some guys that have not been injured, younger, and potentially have a better quarterback. I like Matthew Stafford, but he's had some injuries in the past too now, so it's making me nervous.
For sure, Matthew Stafford has to be out there, no doubt about it. Zach, you're right in the middle of us with Cooper Kupp. What do you think about Cooper Kupp of the Rams?
He's a dude you could trust when he's out there for sure. He's going to catch the ball. I like what you said about his targets in the end zone. So I don't think he's going to be getting the obviously the same amount of yards, receptions, and everything with Puka. But if he's getting more looks in the end zone, that's a pretty decent thing to look at there. If you want Cooper Kupp, he has an upside in that aspect. He gets some points there, right there in the touchdowns.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. Like you brought it up last week, Zach. Matthew Stafford has favorites, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But I like both guys. I definitely like both guys.
No doubt. Cooper Kupp to me, real quick, wide receiver 2. If you think he's your wide receiver 1, you weren't drafting heavy on wide receivers.
Nope. The number 19 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year is new Houston Texan Stefon Diggs. Diggs is going to be 31 in November. He was wide receiver 9 last year, playing in all 17 games. Diggs had 107 catches for 1,183 yards and 8 tutties last year. I'm the lowest on Steph Diggs at 23.
Oh.
Zach's at 22.
Oh.
Max, you're the one who got Diggs in here. You got Stefon Diggs at 14. Why are you going after Diggs this season?
Oh, give me him. Give me Stefon Diggs. This guy's going to get 10 touchdowns this year with C.J. Stroud. Easy. Does he break 1,000 yards? Yeah, I think he does. 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, maybe 80, 90 catches. I don't know if he's breaking 100 this year with Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz, the weapons all around. I understand, Cobra, you say this a lot. A lot of mouths to feed. Well, Stefon Diggs is one of the most elite wide receivers in the game. Okay, he's going to be, he's a big, nice wide mouth on that. Nice wide mouth. Give me him. CJ Stroud. I told you guys last week. I want him. That's my guy. I'm going with CJ Stroud. I'm going to get him. So if I can get a little stack there with Stefon Diggs as my wide receiver 2, I'm pretty happy with that.
That'd be a solid, sexy stack right there. That'd be a solid, sexy stack. You're 14th on Diggs, Max. Zach, you're down there with me. You got him 22nd. Why are you out on Diggs this year?
All right, so you said he's 31, right?
31 in November.
All right. So he showed a lot of himself already in the league, and we've seen it with Kirk Cousins. We've seen it with Josh Allen. if he's not getting the ball the way he wants it, he starts being a little crybaby.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
And I think that is a very big possibility of happening with however many players there are on the Houston Texans already that are going to be competing for those receptions. He's
Yep.
not going to get what he wants right away, possibly, and then he's going to start bitching at fucking CJ Stroud, and it's going to just hurt the relationship. So
Hmm.
I do have some, don't feel great about him on that team. And it's not just because of the team, it's mostly because of him.
Mhm.
Yeah, reportedly Minnesota and Buffalo got rid of him both because he's bumping his gums, crying, bitching,
Wow.
moaning. He's a diva wide
Yeah,
receiver.
he's not a great teammate.
Hmm.
Max, I think he could catch double-digit tutties, but he's only done it twice in his 9-year career. But I think he could. Last season with Buffalo, from week 11 on, he was wide receiver 46. They phased him out of the offense, boys. He was not a part of it. He was not a part of it.
Wow.
The Bills' last 10 games last year, including the postseason, Diggs had 422 receiving yards. That's 42 a game.
Wow.
42 yards a game the last 10 games. That's a pretty big sample size. Zach and I are out on Diggs. Max, you may get him this year.
Okay. All right. Good analysis on that, though. I forgot that he's a total hothead. Man, he's a hothead.
The number 18 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year is going to be a breakout player from last season, Chicago Bear, DJ Moore. The 27-year-old was wide receiver 6 last year, playing in
Wow.
all 17 games. 96 catches for 1,364 yards and 8 tutties on 136 targets. Those are career high numbers in receptions, yards, and tutties for DJ Moore. My goodness. I'm the lowest, boys. I'm the lowest. I got him 22. Max is right there in the middle at 19. Zach, you're riding high with DJ Moore at 13.
Hmm.
Rookie quarterback, Keenan Allen's in the mix now. You're not worried about it. Why are you going after DJ Moore, Zach?
Well, he's proved his whole career that he's very consistent,
Yeah.
very trustworthy. He's going to catch the ball. He's a great route runner. Um, with being a rookie quarterback, it seems like they're vibing pretty well. He has proven himself for this Bears team as being a team leader. I do like that on his end. He's just
Mhm.
a good all around player. I would love to have him on my team this year.
Yeah, you're right. Consistent throughout the seasons here, starting with last year, wide receiver 6 last year.
Mhm.
Year before that, wide receiver 20, wide receiver 18, wide receiver 17, wide receiver 21. So he's consistently in
And
that wide
he,
receiver 2 mix.
yeah, and he's never had a good or a great quarterback thrown to him.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Max, what do you got on DJ Moore? Your
Yeah.
Bears.
I mean, I got him at 19, right? Sorry, I got the wrong thing pulled up. Yeah, I got him at 19, and I like DJ Moore. They just signed him to what was a 3 or 4 year extension. He got what he
Yeah,
wanted. He's staying there in Chicago. Caleb Williams, number 1 option. But like we already brought up, Keenan Allen went there. I mean, come on, he ain't no scrub. You kidding me? Keenan Allen has been one of the most reliable wide receivers
Oh,
in the
yeah.
game.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
and then also the Rome Odunze. Okay, Cole Kmet's solid.
Notre Dame.
There's a lot of mouths to feed there as well. Okay, I do
There
think
is.
he's the number 1 option. I do. Out of everyone there, he is the number 1 option. You got to go get him. You definitely got to go get him. I could definitely see DJ Moore as a wide receiver 1. I think it's just a little bit shaky with a rookie quarterback right now. But hey, we shouldn't be sleeping on rookie quarterbacks after what CJ Stroud did last year. Oh my
True.
goodness.
True. Yeah, I'm the lowest on DJ Moore. I won't be getting him. Not a lot of tutties. Not a lot of tutty upside. 97 career games, only 29 touchdowns. And he was
Wow.
super boomer bust last season. Super boomer bust. He had 6 games where he was a top 10 wide receiver and 9 games when he was outside the top 30. That is really boomer bust for me, boys.
Sure.
The number 17 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this season is going to be current San Francisco 49er, Brandon Ayuk. The 26-year-old was wide receiver 14 last year, playing in 16 games. He had 75 catches for 1,342 yards and 7 touchdowns on 105 targets. We're pretty consistent here with Brandon Ayuk. I'm the highest on him. I got him at 16th. Max is 18th. Zach's 19th. 16, 18, 19th, all right there. Consensus 17th. I had Brandon Ayuk last year. 17.9 yards per catch, big playability. He's only missed 5 games in his 4-year career. Wide receiver 14 last year, wide receiver 15 the year before. We'll see what happens. Max, give us the news you heard today on Brandon Ayuk.
Yes, in case we don't already know, in the front office, they're telling them, Brandon Ayuk, we are a phone call away from trading him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, so they were trying to figure out how to sign him. They want to keep him. Okay, San Francisco wants to keep him. They just can't get the deal across, apparently. And we all know that Brandon Ayuk asked for, he said, trade me early. I don't know, February, March. It was like really, really early. So that scares me because if he goes to Pittsburgh, well, we got Russell Wilson, we got maybe Justin Fields. We don't even know who the quarterback is right now. They might be doing a 2-quarterback system there. We have no idea. Mike Tomlin, one of the arguably the best coach in the game, arguably. Who knows what the hell they're going to do, but Brandon Ayuk needs to stay in San Francisco if you want to see fantasy numbers. I just don't see it in Pittsburgh.
Brandon Ayuk, his receiving yards have increased each season with the career high 1,342 last year. Zach, I believe Ayuk said no to the Patriots, and then the Browns had a deal with Cooper and a couple picks that wasn't enough, I guess. What do you think about Ayuk possibly going to Pittsburgh? Does he go up or down for you in your rankings?
He's going down for sure. Like I talked last week with the quarterbacks when we were talking about the Niners system. I think they could just plug and chug a bunch of different players in there, and they could all have maybe not as high success, but they could have success there. So it's a perfect system for a wide receiver. Might be a little bit above average to really shine. Going to Pittsburgh Steelers with their offense now, they've been struggling year by year with their offense.
Yep.
Ever since Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell have left. They've had some players here and there that have had good seasons, but nothing consistent, nothing where you have a player that, you can rely on to have a great season every time. So I don't know. I definitely don't really like him there.
I don't know if it really moves the needle too much for me. I don't know if he moves up or down. I think I might be more bullish on him just because there's less mouths to feed in Pittsburgh. He goes in, he's the surefire number 1 guy. Where in
George Pickens?
Ayuk is better than George Pickens. You don't even have Pickens in your top 30.
Well, yeah. But if he goes to Pittsburgh, we might be talking about Brandon Ayuk way down, man. Way down.
You got Debo, CMC, Kittle. You got all those guys to mess with. I don't think it moves the needle too much for me, but I would like Ayuk in Pittsburgh. I think that's solid. Max, does he move up or down if he goes to Pittsburgh for you?
He might stay right there. Yeah, how about this? I'm not going to know until Mike Tomlin decides who the quarterback is going to be. Then maybe I'll start thinking, all right, if it's Russell Wilson, he might actually get more. He's going to get more touches and more catches, more touchdowns. Justin Fields, Justin Fields is going to run. We all know that. So
Justin Fields supported DJ Moore last year, though. Let's not forget.
Yeah, 8 touchdowns. Great.
Career high for DJ. The number 16 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year. We're going to Indianapolis, boys. Michael Pittman Jr. Going to be 27 years old in October. He was wide receiver 13 last year, playing in 16 games. 109 catches for 1,152 yards and only 4 touchdowns on 156 targets. Those 109 receptions were 4th in the NFL, boys. I got Pittman at 18th. Zach has him at 18th with me. Max, you're the highest with Michael Pittman at 13. Why do you like the Indianapolis Colts?
See, this is like that one pick that I decided that, you know what, if you don't get him, this might end up being a breakout player because the way that Anthony Richardson is, man, he might be a boomer bust too. We have no idea. Well, all we know is that he uses his legs. He's like a Cam Newton. But did we forget that Cam Newton also had like 400-yard passing games as well? We don't know yet, but we already know the one guy that he will throw to, Anthony Richardson will throw to, is Michael Pittman Jr. So I want him. Michael Pittman Jr. is good. 109 catches with Gardner Minqueef.
Gardner
Come on,
Minshew.
come on.
Yeah, I think Michael Pittman Jr. is a solid receiver. Also, last year, wide receiver 13. Year before that, wide receiver 27. But the year before that, wide receiver 16. So he's right in there as a wide receiver 2, probably. Touchdowns are limited. Touchdowns are limited. Only 15 in 62 career games. That's one in every 4 games. That's not enough for me. Zach, why are you out on Michael Pittman?
Um, I like him. I really do. But he is a gamble. Like Mike says, we don't know. We don't know for sure. It's boom or bust for him. He could have a great year this year. He could be a breakout player this year. He really
Exactly.
could. Anthony Richardson could do it for him. But we just there's no actual factual proof that he can. So I mean, he's just one of those gamble players. Either you want to take it or you don't.
Mm.
The number 15 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year. Going out to Seattle boys, DK Metcalf,
Okay.
the big dog.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the biggest discrepancies for us right here.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, you're in the middle. Got DK at 17th. Max, you're out on DK. You got him at 22nd. Boys, I got him at 9th. I got him top 10, DK Metcalf. He was wide receiver 21 last year, playing in 16 games. He only had 66 catches, only 66 last year for 1,114 yards, 8 tutties. He's only missed 1 game in his 5-year career. He
Yep.
is super healthy. 1 missed game in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Last year, wide receiver 21. The year before that, wide receiver 19. Wide receiver 10, wide receiver 5. So he's got top 10 ability. He's done it 2 years. The touchdowns are there, 43 and 82 career games. I'm really high on DK. I'm really high on DK. I think Geno has a better year than what he did last year. Zach, you're in the middle. Max, you're out on him. Why don't you want DK, Max?
Ah, man, 66 catches last year. Oh my goodness, you kidding me?
Bad.
This is a guy that we had in our first round last year. We're two keeper league, everybody. We're in a two keeper league, so technically this is the third round. All right, so third round pick. People are going high on him. I wanted him. I wanted him in my first round, but I think I had the second overall pick. I got CD. So, man, if you're gonna go Cole Breezy and take him in that third or fourth round, go ahead. All right.
Fourth.
Fourth round. Okay. I might beat you in there in the fourth round. But I agree. I agree that I think that maybe Geno Smith will have a good year, or this is the last year for Geno Smith and he's gone. Okay. No more Pete Carroll. There's a new offense. You know, we got to be thinking about this. And also, we said this so many times, okay, for the past 2 years in a row. What defenses do, they always double team DK. Every single game, they double team him. Okay. And that's why he never gets the ball. So, I mean, he's a breakout player. That's why he ended up being number 21 because he can catch a 80-yard touchdown pass. But I think the boom or bust, the back and forth, it makes me nervous. That's why I'm out on DK. I love DK though. He's so freaking jacked and he's a hell of a wide receiver. But until I see him go past 80 catches, then maybe I'll I'll start thinking about him in the top 10 like you, Cole Breezy.
Let's see here. DK Metcalf has hit 80 catches twice in 5 years.
That's good.
Zach, you're right there in the middle with DK. Max, you mentioned the new coach, the new offensive system, the Washington coach from last year, Huskies, Grubb. He comes in with that air raid offense to Seattle. Zach, you're right there in the middle. Could you be getting DK on your roster this year?
Possibly. One thing I don't like about him though is he is a head case as well. He starts a lot of fights during games. Last year, me and my buddies, we were at the Seattle at Cincinnati game.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking out of nowhere, just plays over, just shoves the cornerback that was on him. You know, playing good coverage. Obviously, didn't get the ball. Shoves him. Fucking 15-yard penalty right there. Then he just walks off the field. He's got a bad attitude when he's playing. He looks like a good guy, but he's got a bad attitude, it seems like.
A lot of divas from the wide receiver position.
There's a lot of divas in general when it comes to the NFL and the NBA. What we can talk about that another time.
The number 14 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year. Going out to Atlanta, the Falcons, Drake London, only 23 years old. He's played 2 seasons. He was wide receiver 37 last year, wide receiver 38 as a rookie. But listen to these quarterbacks he's had, boys. Marcus Mariota. I like Marcus from Tennessee, but he's no passing quarterback. Desmond Queef Ritter and Taylor Heineke. Those have been Drake London's quarterbacks. Drake London, he was the number 8 overall pick. He was a top 10 pick in the NFL. This dude's got talent. 14th consensus, 14th for me, 14th for Zach, 17th for Max. Max, why are you a little lower on Drake?
We haven't seen him do anything. Have not seen him do a damn thing. And I know Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins is the man, but Kirk Cousins just tore his freaking Achilles. What if he comes out and does nothing? Then who's going to throw it to him? The Penix, right? Penix is their backup.
Yep.
Who they drafted at the 9th pick or whatever. Oh my goodness.
8, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe they did that. Maybe in 4 years we'll be like, oh, what a good pick. But
could be a Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, sure. It has to be what they were thinking. Has to be. I'm not out on Drake London. Okay, 17th, wide receiver 2, maybe a flex option for sure. But I haven't seen anything from him that makes me excited yet.
Zach, outside of Kirk Cousins coming over from Minnesota, any other reason to be excited about Drake London?
No, I think he's just one of those players that, has the potential of being a breakout player with a new quarterback. My buddy Tyler, he's a Falcons fan, and he's been saying the word on the street, Atlanta's got 2 QB1s right now.
It's a QB
Penix guy.
Penix?
Yeah. Well, obviously they're going to be starting Kirk Cousins, but they like what they've been seeing from Penix. If Kirk Cousins goes out or, after his contract's up, they have another quarterback ready. We'll see about that, obviously, when it comes in the future, but they got high hopes in Atlanta this year.
Drake London's still only 23 years old, the number 8 overall pick. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're hungry. We're hungry for Drake London for sure.
Sure.
The number 13 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year. We're going to Tampa Bay and Mike Evans, boys. He's going to be 31 this month. He was wide receiver 7 last year, playing in all 17 games. 79 catches for 1,255 yards and 13 touchdowns. 13 receiving touchdowns. We're tied with Tyreek for the most in the NFL. Mike Evans has had 1,000 yards in all 10 seasons of his fucking career. He's number 15 for me, 15 for Max, and Zach. You got Mike Evans number 8.
Oh, top 10er. Okay.
In a 2-keeper league, why could Mike Evans be a first-round draft pick for you?
Look at his career. He has proved that every single year he's putting up these numbers. I have no problem in drafting him. Sorry, boys. I did not look back and see what wide receiver he was every single year, but I'm sure more than half of them he was in the top 10.
I got you here. Starting with last year, wide receiver 7, wide receiver 16, 6, 8, 8, 6, 20, 1, 27, 10. So
awesome. Very
consistent. Max, you're right there with me on Mike Evans. I think you've had him in the past. Mm-hmm. Are you going after him this year?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. I would love to have Mike Evans. If we're asking why is he at 15, it's his age. For the past couple, maybe even 3 seasons when we discussed this, obviously this is our first or second time filming, but we've always talked about Mike Evans. Maybe this is the year he doesn't get 1,000 yards. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to. You know what? I'm out on that. This guy is going to have 1,000 yards until he retires. I don't think there's going to be a year where he has over 1,000 and he goes, you know what? I'm just done, boys. I can't do it anymore. He will retire on 1,000 yards. Okay. I love Mike Evans. Out of all the wide receivers in the game, I think we have to agree that this might be the most reliable wide receiver that we have seen in the past. How many seasons has he played? 10?
10 years.
10 years. Might be the most reliable wide receiver we have seen in the past 10 years.
Yeah, he reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald a lot.
Ooh,
just nice. With his consistency.
Good name call.
Mike Evans turning 31 next Wednesday, boys. So happy early birthday to Mike. The number 12 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year is going to be Houston Texan Nico Collins, the second Texan that we're talking about today. 25 years old. He was wide receiver 12 last year in 15 games. 80 catches for 1,297 yards and 8 tutties. Nico, he broke out last year. Are we sure about him? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're sure about him. I got him 13th. Both of you boys got him at 12. So we're right there together with Nico. Looks like we'll all be battling for him possibly as a first round pick in a two-keeper league. Max, you like Diggs a lot, but you like Nico even more.
I like Nico way more, and you just literally brought it up, Cole Breezy, for our third round, technically our first, but he'll be in our first round. Okay, this will be our first round, a first round draft pick. We'll see once we start putting it on the paper, top 10. But I want this guy. I want this guy as my wide receiver 2.
Zach, would you be happy with Nico as your wide receiver 1?
I mean, yeah, I would. I would try and possibly get someone a little higher that I have ranked before for my wide receiver 1. But if push came to shove, yeah, I'm in high hopes that he builds off of last season and just gets even better. That's what my hopes are. That's why he's so high for me.
And he got a big contract. He got paid, so Houston wants him.
Ooh, now young CJ Stroud. Ooh.
What year is he?
He's going into his fourth. Going into his fourth season. Yep. 25 years old, Nico Collins.
Hey, yo. Cobrizi, can you confirm anything that maybe Kelly is thinking about keeping Nico Collins?
Definitely in the discussion, but I'd be surprised.
Okay. All right.
I'd be surprised.
All right.
The number 11 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this season is going to be the only rookie we're talking about. Arizona Cardinal, 22-year-old Marvin Harrison Jr. Boys, oh boys, we've been waiting on this guy. The number 4 pick in this year's draft out of Ohio State. Last year as a junior, he had 67 catches for 1,211 yards and 14 tutties. The year before that as a sophomore, 77 catches for 1,263 yards and 14 tutties again. Back-to-back seasons of 14 tutties. I'm sorry. I thought I was the highest, but Max, you're right there with me. We both got Maserati Marv at 10. Zach, you're out on him at 15. Why don't you want this rookie for Arizona?
Well, it's because he's a rookie. I don't have high confidence in the Arizona Cardinals. He has a 5'8" quarterback thrown to him. But he is the wide receiver that every single team wanted to draft. I wanted the Bears to draft him. I'm fine with. I like that Rome Odunze, or however you pronounce his last name. He looks like he's going to be a pretty good wide receiver as well.
Yeah.
But everyone wanted Marvin Harrison Jr.
Max, you got a rookie in your top 10, just like me. How you feeling about him?
Excited. Okay, if this is my wide receiver 2 in autumn, I got jitters. I got jitters about this guy because I know you already brought it up, Zach. Kyler Murray, he rushes a lot. He's 5'8", but did we forget about DeAndre Hopkins and the numbers that they put up together? It was some big time numbers, and now he's got Marvin Harrison. He has the McBride as the tight end, and who I don't know who the other guy is, but number 1 option is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm excited about this guy. Come on.
Arizona doesn't have much more. Michael Wilson, I think, is the 2 there, and that's not much. But last year for Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr., a 4-week stretch in October, he had 8 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown against Maryland. Next week at Purdue, 6 for 105 and a touchdown. The next week versus Penn State, 11 for 162 and a touchdown. Next week at Wisconsin, 6 for 123 and 2 touchdowns. My goodness. He's had 1,500-yard games in his last 2 collegiate seasons. I'm super excited for Marvin Harrison. I'd take him as my number 1 receiver. I'd be fine with him as my number 1. The number 10 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year is going to be Las Vegas Raider Davante Adams. We're just talking about Mike Evans, how he's been one of the most consistent receivers over the last decade. Davante Adams right there with him. Davante's going to be 32 in December. He was wide receiver 10 last year 103 catches for 1,144 yards and 8 tutties on 175 targets.
Wow.
Those 175 targets were second in the NFL. Davante Adams, he's been super consistent. Lot of tutties. 6 seasons with double-digit touchdowns. I've got Adams 12th, Max 11th, Zach 9th. Why could you be getting Davante Adams, Zach?
That's what you said. He is one of the best wide receivers in the league consistently. Um, he's going up there. He's getting that ball. He's on a shitty team. He doesn't care. He's going. He has a winning attitude. And he wants to win, even though they're not winning. He's going to do whatever he has to win. So I like that in a player. I really like that in a player. I want him.
Davante Adams, he's been in the NFL for 10 seasons. Taking out his first 2 years and 2019, where he only played 12 games. His fantasy finishes: wide receiver 10 last year, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 5, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 12, wide receiver 7. My goodness. Max, why do you want Davante Adams?
I mean, the one thing that I will say is, okay, what, the quarterback is going to be Gardner Minshew, right?
That's what it's looking like.
Okay, so this might be the year. This might be the year where you're like, oh, man, he's not in that top 10. You know, he's not in top 20. I'm not betting on that, though. That's why I have him at 11th. I would love him as my wide receiver, too. Okay, again, Michael Pittman Jr. with Gardner Minshew last year, 109 catches for 1152, only 4 touchdowns. That definitely makes me nervous, okay? But Davante Adams is the number 1 option. They don't, like, what, Zamir White in the backfield is what they're going to be talking about? You know what? No. That he is the number 1 option. They're just going to be chucking. But then you got to also start thinking about defenses, right? Which would be like, are they just going to double team him and see what Gardner Minshew throws it to? I don't know. Yeah, but he's going to get a lot of targets. You got to go for him. You got to go for this guy. He could still end up being an easy top 10.
The number 9 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year is going to be New Orleans Saints, Chris Olave. Okay. 24 years old. He was wide receiver 16 last year, playing in 16 games. 87 catches for 1,123 yards and 5 touchdowns on 138 targets. I've got Chris Olave 11th, Max 9th, Zach 10th. So we're all right there on Chris Olave. I'm a little lower on the lowest. I think he's got a touchdown ceiling because of himself and Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not going to throw 30 touchdowns. Chris Olave, only 9 touchdowns in 31 career games. Right now, he's got a touchdown ceiling for me. That's why he comes in at 11th. Max, you're the highest on him at 9th. Why do you like Chris Olave?
His youth, his speed, he is a hell of a player. His athleticism, maybe him and Derek Carr, now that they have 1 year under their belt, they can figure out how to get him into the 10 touchdown talk, right? Can we actually see this guy get 10 touchdowns? He's also, Alvin Kamara is probably, is he though? Is he the number 1 option, you think? Yeah.
Olave.
Yeah, I would lean Olave too, just because of the youth and whatnot. So that's what I'm thinking as well. And the Saints, they're always there. They always figure out how to be 9-8 and somehow try to talk about squeeze it into the playoffs. 9-8. That division is so weird. 8-9 records going into the playoffs, not 7-10.
Yeah. Zach, give me your thoughts on Chris Olave coming up on his 3rd season for the Saints.
It just seems like he's getting better every season. Alvin Kamara, I think, steals a lot of stuff away from him in the receiving department, and most of that, I think is just, I would say, dump offs. So Chris Olave, he's got upside potential for sure.
Yeah, I'm expecting a possible 3rd-year breakout. Derek Carr might be holding him back, though. Might be holding him back a little bit. The number 8 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year is going to be the second Ram that we're talking about today. Puka Nacua, 23-year-old. He was a rookie last season, wide receiver 4 in fantasy, playing all 17 games. Listen to this, boys. 105 catches for Puka for 1,486 yards, along with 6 touchdowns on 160 targets. Those 1,486 yards were 4th in the NFL. Puka Nacua set NFL rookie records for receptions and receiving yards. Rookie records for receptions and receiving yards. And damn it, he was drafted in 1.6% of fantasy leagues last season. The wide receiver 92 off the board. The wide receiver 92 finished wide receiver 4. Zach, I want to say you picked him up after week 1.
I believe so. Week 1 or week 2. I don't remember.
And you're actually the lowest on Puka after having this rookie season. Max and I, right there, locked in with Puka at 8. Zach, you're at 11. Why are you lower on Puka after having him as a rookie in fantasy?
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard to replicate a second year in a row, especially, being your first year. You think, maybe it was a little tiny bit of luck involved with it to, get all those numbers. He's obviously a great wide receiver, could catch the ball, could sustain that amount of targets that are going towards him, that many hits that he gets every single time. But, you have to expect a little bit of a slump for his second year. And with Cooper Kupp coming around, Matt Stafford, his health in question, I still think he's going to be a great wide receiver, but I will definitely say that I do not think he'll have as good of a year as he had last year.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you, Zach, that he won't have as good of a year. That if I had to bet, that's his career year last year. If I had to put money on it, that'd be his career year. And yeah, Cooper Kupp, he's definitely going to be a factor. Like we already brought up, Cooper Kupp had more targets, receptions, and touchdowns in the red zone than Puka last season. And Max, like you brought up, Matthew Stafford got taken out today. So scary having 2 Rams in the top 20 from the wide receiver position if Matthew Stafford isn't there. But what's your thoughts on Puka this season?
Oh, the upside has to be, I mean, after breaking records last year and the numbers that he has put up with 1,400 yards, over 100 catches, the upside is so exciting for a 23-year-old. Okay, especially in a Sean McVay offense who, man, he, again, top 5 probably coach in the game. Okay, he always figures it out. Matthew Stafford makes me nervous with the injuries, okay, because if Jimmy Garoppolo's in there, oh man, that is going to be a bust for most of those wide receivers. But Zach, are you keeping him or not? That's what we need to know.
No, I don't plan on keeping Puka.
Okay, all right.
Max, in a 2-keeper league, would you spend a first rounder on Puka?
Man, I know that we were just talking about Nico Collins being on our first round, so why wouldn't Puka be in the first round? Got to see how we run the numbers, but Puka as my wide receiver too, I'll be pretty happy. So I right now I'm going to say why not?
The number 7 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast. For the first time this season, boys, we got our first trifecta. All of us have Garrett Wilson as wide receiver number 7. Number 7 across the board, our first trifecta of the season. Garrett Wilson, 24 years old. He was wide receiver 26 last year in 17 games. 95 catches for 1,042 yards, only 3 touchdowns on 168 targets.
Man.
168 targets were 4th in the NFL. Wide receiver 26 last year, wide receiver 21 as a rookie. Let me roll through his quarterbacks here, boys. Quarterbacks for the Jets that have been thrown to Garrett Wilson the last 2 seasons. Zach Queef Wilson, who I saw out here today, fucking just airmailing throws today for the Broncos. Put him on the crowd.
Throw it to the crowd. That's what he was doing. like a t-shirt gun. A t-shirt gun.
My God, the fact that the Broncos are talking about Zach Wilson being in the starting quarterback conversation. That's just a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Zach Queef Wilson was his main guy for Garrett Wilson. Also for him, Joe Flacco, which is probably the best name you're going to hear. Mike White. Chris Streveler. Anybody know that name?
No.
Nope.
Trevor Simeon.
Okay.
And Tim Queef Boyle. Those have been Garrett Wilson's quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers. We were super excited for it last year. I kept Garrett Wilson, boys. I kept Garrett Wilson last season on the back of Aaron Rodgers coming in.
Yeah.
I'm not that high on Aaron Rodgers. Going to turn 41 with that Achilles. I'm not that high on Aaron Rodgers, but by far it is the best quarterback that Garrett Wilson has ever played with. We all have him at number 7. Sounds like a first rounder in a 2-keeper league.
Mm-hmm.
Max, give me your thoughts on Garrett Wilson.
Be ready for a bigger year. I am shocked that he had 95 catches with those quarterbacks. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
95 catches.
And 83 as a rookie.
Wow. Wow. So the ESPN is projecting he's going to have 80 catches. I am telling you right now, no freaking way. No freaking way. With Aaron Rodgers, this guy's going to have his first 100 catch season. It's coming. It's coming this year. Let's, I don't know. It's Aaron Rodgers is so much in the media that they want to see him succeed, or they don't want to see him succeed, but he will succeed and prove everyone wrong. It's going to be a big story in the media this year. I'm calling it. I'm already calling it. Garrett Wilson's going to have a big year. Think of Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers back in Green Bay, that kind of season. Go get Garrett Wilson if you have the chance.
Sounds like a possible stack for you, Max, with Aaron Rodgers at number 12.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
Number 12, Aaron Rodgers.
The top 10 quarterbacks, that's all I want. I am not getting no backup after that.
Zach, what do you think about ESPN projecting Garrett Wilson for only 80 receptions, which would be a career low?
Oh, that's definitely low. I mean, but they have to save their ass. I don't know. I don't know where they even get those from. But I like Garrett Wilson. He, just like how I talked about Devontae Adams, he has a great attitude. He wants to win. I know him, or just what I don't know, because obviously I don't know them. But from what I've heard, what I've read, different stuff like that, Aaron Rodgers likes him a lot. They have a good relationship. So I could definitely see them, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy throughout the whole season, he's just going to be targeting him all day, all night. He's going to be scoring touchdowns. He's going to be like Jordy Nelson or like Devontae Adams for Aaron Rodgers in the end of his career here.
Yeah, boys, if Jonathan Taylor or Travis Etienne go down, Garrett Wilson might be a keeper for me. The number 6 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this season is going to be Philadelphia Eagle, A.J. Brown. The 27-year-old was wide receiver 5 last year, playing in all 17 games. He caught 106 balls for 1,456 yards and 7 tutties on 158 targets. Those are career-high numbers in receptions and targets. His 4 healthy seasons, he's been wide receiver 5, wide receiver 4, wide receiver 9, wide receiver 9. I've got him at 6. You boys both have him at 5. Zach, what's your thoughts on A.J. Brown for the Eagles?
I think we expect pretty much the same type of season that he had. I've liked A.J. Brown since he was on Tennessee. I'm definitely going for him. Oh, wait, he's not actually available in our league, so we can't go for him, but I would go for him.
Yeah, you mentioned the Tennessee. I didn't want to bring it up, but a 3rd-round pick and a 1st-round pick that ended up being Treylon Burks for A.J. Brown. My God, the Titans got swindled there. Max, give me your thoughts on a big body A.J. Brown.
Oh my goodness, that has to be one of the worst trades. But then again, us Titans. As Chicago Bears, we could always bring up Quick Bisky, and that could have a good 10 minutes of anger.
That takes the cake, Quick Bisky.
A.J. Brown is just an outstanding player, man. He's big, he's tough, he's hard to take down. Sticky glue on his hands, and you guys already know from last week, Jalen Hurts is my number 1 quarterback. Go get some Eagles players if available, guys. Yeah. We didn't bring up Devontae Smith today, but I'll tell you right now, go get him if you have a chance too. He's in my top 20. But A.J. Brown, sucks that we can't see him. We might never see him, guys. I don't know when he'll ever be in the draft again.
Yeah, speaking of Devontae Smith, he came in consensus number 22 for us.
Okay.
The number 5 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast is going to be 25-year-old Minnesota Viking, the guy I see over your left shoulder, Max, Justin Jefferson. Only played 10 games last season with that hamstring injury, but in those 10 games, points per game basis, he was wide receiver 5. 68 catches for 1,074 yards and 5 tutties on 100 targets in those 10 games. My goodness. I'm not worried about injuries with Justin Jefferson. He played every game in his first 3 seasons. Every game he played. As a rookie, he was wide receiver 6. Sophomore, wide receiver 4. 3rd year, wide receiver 1 when he led the league with 128 receptions for 1,809 yards. The tutties are there. I've got Jefferson 5, Max 6, Zach 4. Zach, why are you highest on Justin Jefferson?
Well, the one thing that just I personally think he is the second best wide receiver in the league, but his team sucks. Who who's going to be throwing to him? Andy Dalton maybe, or not Andy Dalton
Sam
or whatever.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, yeah. So I don't have high confidence with that, but he could still put up numbers with whoever's throwing to him. So that's why I don't have him obviously at second, but he could still put up those numbers. He's going to be a great player his whole career.
Big rave reviews about Sam Darnold coming out of camp right now for some reason. We see J.J. McCarthy, rookie from Michigan, tear his meniscus. He's out for the season, boys. There's no more QB controversy in Minnesota. Going to be Sam Darnold's team this year. Max, if Kirk Cousins were still in Minnesota, would you have Jefferson in your top 2 or 1?
He might be 1 or 2. Yes, absolutely. With Sam Darnold under center, oh my goodness. Sam Darnold, he also rushes. He gets to the 2-yard line and then they try to rush him in there. What? He was on the Jets and he went to Carolina and then he went to, I don't even know. I feel like
Francisco.
He was in San Fran. How about that? No, I am not excited about him. I think that Justin Jefferson does have a down year, but he's still going to put up enough numbers for you to be happy with your fantasy. I'm telling you right now, if you're in not a keeper league, people, he's not a number 1 overall pick. No way. Top 10? Probably. Probably. Yeah. But I'm not that excited about him. But we will say that we're never going to see him again either because he'll be kept. He'll be kept.
With Wilson. The number 4 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year is going to be Cincinnati Bengal, Jamar Chase. The 24-year-old was wide receiver 11 last year, playing in 16 games. He caught 100 balls for 1,216 yards and 7 tutties on 145 targets. He set career-high numbers in receptions and targets, but his touchdowns have decreased each season. Wide receiver 11 last year, wide receiver 12 the year before, and wide receiver 3 as a rookie when he had those 13 touchdowns. I've got Chase 4th. Max has him 4th. Zach's the lowest at 6th. Why are you lower than us on Jamar Chase, Zach?
It just seems like that Cincinnati Bengals team is regressing every year. Ever since, they did they get to the Super Bowl or did they get to the championship game? I don't remember.
Super Bowl. They went to Super Bowl. Yeah.
Super Bowl lost. Yeah, they like I said, they've just been regressing every single year since then. He's obviously still a great talent. He's got a great quarterback that can throw to him if he stays healthy. But other than that, don't even have to worry about him. He's not in the draft.
Yeah.
True.
24 years old, Jamar Chase. His receptions have increased each season. His targets have increased each season. But like I said, his touchdowns have decreased each season. Max, why do you like Jamar Chase?
I like, obviously he's very talented, but I like Joe Burrow as well. Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback, and they're going to have a better year. It's as simple as that. Joe Burrow got hurt last season. He was hurt in or in the offseason. Came in and what did he tear? His UCL or something like that in his arm? Or something like that.
Wrist ligament.
So one of those, yeah. So they're back. They're back, and the fact that they've had chemistry in college, then they come here to the big leagues and start putting up the numbers that they're doing. It's going to be a good year for them. Don't shy away from Jamar Chase or Joe Burrow.
The number 3 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year, going out to Detroit, baby, Motown, Amon-Ra, Brown. He's going to be 25 in October. He's played 3 seasons for the Lions. He was wide receiver 3 last year, playing in 16 games. Caught 119 balls. That was tied for second in the NFL. For 1,515 yards. That was third in the NFL. 10 receiving tutties was tied for fourth in the NFL. And 164 targets were fifth in the NFL. All 4 of those numbers were all career highs. All 4 of those numbers were top 5 in the NFL. No one else can say that. Amon-Ra has increased his receptions, yards, touchdowns, and targets each season. All 4 numbers have increased each season. Amon-Ra is the real freaking deal.
Mm-hmm.
And damn it, we got our second trifecta of the season. All 3 of us with Amon-Ra St. Brown at number 3 overall. Max, tell me about Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions.
Man, what a beast. I remember when Trevor had the option last season to keep CD Lamb or Amon-Ra Brown. Technically, CD Lamb did do better, but it was still an incredible pick. Okay, Amon-Ra Brown is so damn good, and the Lions are good. What a fun division this year, boys, here in the NFC North. You got my Chicago Bears, you got the Packers, and you got the Lions. They're going to be fighting for it. The Vikings won't be there. We all know that. We all know that. But the Lions look really good. Jared Goff, that's his favorite weapon. Number one option. Number one option overall. No doubt about it. They like to run. They do like to run, but I would say Amon-Ra is the big dog.
Yeah, you mentioned how Trevor kept Amon-Ra over CD Lamb. Trevor also kept, in that same season, Tony Pollard over CD Lamb. Oh, my goodness. Poor Trev. Poor T-Bone. Zach, what do you got for me on Amon-Ra Brown?
No, he's a special player. Like you said, he's getting better every single year. He's on a good team right now. They have a good offense. If you have Amon-Ra on your team, you're in good graces.
Amon-Ra has the third most receptions for a player through their first 3 seasons in the NFL. He had 9 100-yard games last season. That was most in the NFL. And boys, he scored 10 touchdowns last year. He only had 6 end zone targets last season. That was 44th at the wide receiver position. That tells me there's more room for growth. There's room for more tutties for Amon-Ra. Only 6 end zone targets? That's crazy. The number 2 wide receiver for the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast this year, 30-year-old Miami Dolphin, Tyreek Hill. Wide receiver 2 last year in 16 games, catching 119 balls. That was tied with Amon-Ra for second. And it also tied a career high from the previous season for Tyreek Hill. Both his seasons in Miami, 119 catches each year. This past year, he had 1,799 yards that led the NFL and was a career high. He had 13 receiving tutties, which tied Mike Evans for the NFL lead. And he had 171 targets, which was third in the NFL, also a career high. Somehow Tyreek Hill is putting up career high numbers with Tua after leaving Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I can't believe it. Max and I both have Tyreek Hill at number 2. Zach, you got a number 1, baby. He's at the top of your board. I don't think any of us are worried with his age. I don't think any of us is worried about 30 years old. Zach, tell us why Tyreek Hill is your number 1 wide receiver.
Well, because he's the best wide receiver in the league. If I were to start a new team, he's the one I want on my team for my wide receiver 1. Yeah, he's got Tua thrown to him, but, as we've seen, that doesn't matter. He's still putting up these numbers. This boy likes to run. He likes to catch. He likes to, once he catches the ball, keep running. Good luck catching him.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that he's wide receiver number 1 for me.
Oh. Taking out Tyreek Hill's rookie season and 2019, where he only played 12 games, his fantasy finishes at the wide receiver position. Wide receiver 2 last year, wide receiver 3 the year before, wide receiver 7, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 4. Boys, number 7 was the lowest you heard there. Max, why couldn't you put Tyreek Hill at the top of your board?
Oh, I definitely was thinking about it. I was shaking my pen a little bit. Literally, here's the 2 things, okay? Age. Age. We're going to talk about the number 1 guy in a second. I think I don't want to talk about thinking that Dak is better than Tua. I don't know, boys. Okay, I know we're shitting on Tua, but Tua had the most passing yards last year. Okay, it's a debate though. Okay, we can talk about that. Leave it in the comments, everybody. Leave it in the comments. Honestly, that's it. Because man, this guy's so elite. Oh my goodness, he's such an awesome guy to watch. He's going to have more receiving yards than some quarterbacks. Okay, Sam Darnold. Let's put that bet down right now.
More receiving than passing yards.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Tyreek could easily be number 1. It's literally the age. That's it. And 30. And come on, I'm not worried about the age. I'm just saying compared to the guy that we're about to name. Yeah, I'm gonna go the other guy, especially when you're bringing up, Zach, that if you're starting a dynasty, that you would go Tyreek Hill. I would go with youth first. So that's it.
Tyreek Hill, one of the fastest guys on the field and off the field. But the number one.
Oh, so funny.
But the number one wide receiver this year, the 2024 fantasy football season for the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. He was the wide receiver one last year, 25-year-old Dallas Cowboy, CeeDee Lamb. Like I said, he was wide receiver one last year, playing in all 17 games. He led the NFL with 135 receptions. He was second in the NFL with 1,749 yards. He was third in the NFL with 12 receiving tutties, and he led the NFL with 181 targets. All four of those numbers were all career highs for CD, and he has increased his receptions, yards, touchdowns, and targets each season. Just like Amon-Ra has done in 3 years, CD has done the same in his 4 seasons. CeeDee Lamb, number one for me, number one for Max, and number 2 for Zach. Max, no doubt CeeDee Lamb is a keeper.
Yeah.
What are you hearing from Jerry Jones and the scuttlebutt out of Dallas?
Oh man, it's a lot of drama coming to this where Jerry Jones came out and when they asked him like, "Oh, how's that deal coming with CeeDee Lamb?" He goes, basically, "I'm not really even thinking about it. I'm not really nervous about it. I don't you know what." And then CeeDee Lamb just on Twitter or whatever it was, whatever social media platform, he types LOL or messaging back. But here, everyone, let's not freak out, okay? I'm getting updates. Rumors, Dallas Cowboys offer CeeDee Lamb the second biggest wide receiver contract ever. Micah Parsons, arguably the best defensive player in the game, guarantees CeeDee Lamb will play week 1. Okay, And then Jerry Jones came out and said, "I am conscientiously working on a deal with CeeDee Lamb." So all this is good news, okay? Let's not freak out. He will be there week 1. I'll take Micah Parsons' word for it any day of the week. Wow. And my one other reason why I picked CeeDee Lamb as number 1 over Tyreek Hill, yes, I am biased because I'm keeping him this year on my fantasy football team. All right.
5 years younger, definitely 5 years younger. Debatable, the quarterbacks, Dak and Tua, debatable. I definitely have Dak a handful of spots higher. But I like CD, man. I like CD. I think it's him and Jefferson as the best pure wide receivers. CD's only missed 1 game in his 4-year career, so he's damn healthy. Last season, CD scored 403.2 full PPR fantasy points. 403.2 full PPR fantasy points. That was the 4th best fantasy performance all time from a wide receiver. 4th best fantasy performance ever. Number 1 on that list was 2021 Cooper Kupp when he had the triple crown. Number 2, 1995, Jerry Rice. Number 3, 2007, Randy Moss. Zach, why did you go with Tyreek Hill over CeeDee Lamb for your top spot?
Oh, just because I like Tyreek Hill better. But I have no real, solid opinion on why I like them more. I just like them more. I guess it's because I don't really like the Cowboys. Historically, great team. They always are making the playoffs and everything. Can't really ever do anything in the playoffs. Yeah. But nothing against CeeDee Lamb. Amazing player. Just getting better. It's awesome watching him.
Well, that's going to do us here, boys. This week on the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. Real quick, the top 20 wide receivers. Starting from the top, number 1, CeeDee Lamb. Tyreek Hill, amon-rastbrown, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. At number 6, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams. At number 11, we got our only rookie, Marvin Harrison Jr., Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Drake London, DK Metcalf. At 16, we got Michael Pittman Jr., followed by Brandon Ayuk. Where's he going to go? Is he going to stay? 18, we got DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, who we're really off on. And then finishing up us out, the top 20 was Cooper Kupp, another Ram. Max, get us out of here. One name we didn't say, and how do you feel about these wide receiver rankings? Quickly.
Well, first, everybody, thank you for coming out for the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. We love you all. We continue to grow in subscriptions. We appreciate all of you. I'm going to tell you right now, okay, I already brought up Devontae Smith. Don't be sleeping on Devontae Smith. But if we're going to go outside our top 30 that we all did, boys, I'm going to say Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk with Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars, okay? I know we're like, oh, I don't know about that. He's been a reliable wide receiver. He was the number one wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence. I know everyone's saying, oh, no, Calvin Ridley. No, because Christian Kirk pulled his groin and got taken out. But I'm telling you right now, he was getting more targets than Calvin Ridley was. Do not sleep on Christian Kirk, boys.
Number one wide receiver for Jacksonville for sure. Zach, what's one name we didn't say today that you could see breaking into this top 15, top 10?
Oh, let's just say throw a dart out. Let's say Zay Flowers.
Yeah, hell yeah. I got him in my top 21. Sorry, 21.
Yep. Yeah, both you boys are higher than me on Zay Flowers for sure. Even though he's the number one wide receiver, he's the number 2 target for Lamar Jackson behind Mark Andrews for sure. I'll give you one name here, boys. The highest guy that I have that didn't make our top 20, a name that we actually said, but we didn't do a deep dive on him. George Pickens. Okay, George Pickens. I see a 3rd-year leap possibly coming here. Kenny Pickett, he's a queef. You get Russell Wilson in there. I know he only takes 2 shits a week, but he was able to get Cortland Sutton 10 tutties last year. Yeah. I see George Pickens possibly having a big year. I see a 3rd-year jump for George Pickens. Kenny Pickett, Mitch Queef-Bisky, and Mason Rudolph has been George Pickens quarterbacks. Get the fuck out of here. Russell Wilson is the best guy he's played with.
No doubt about that.
Zach, we appreciate you coming on here again, brother, doing these rankings with us. We've been doing these rankings since college, just for fun, and now we get to record with you, man. Great time. Anything you got for us or the people before you get out of here?
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. I love it. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hell yeah. Max, get us out of here, man.
All right. Again, everyone, thank you for continue to like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you.
Oh, man, all these keepers coming in, boys. All these keepers are coming in our league now. We're less than a month away from our draft. And, oh, man, CeeDee Lamb, he's going to get that big, fat contract. I'm pretty excited about that.
You better hope. You're sitting in the same position I was last year. Jonathan Taylor holding out, and then he fakes a back injury, and he misses 4, 5, 8, 10 games.
Oh, gosh.
You were in this position with Le'Veon Bell a handful years ago. I know you're nervous, Max.
I get this all the time, by the way. Le'Veon Bell, Josh Jacobs last year. There was one other guy I'm forgetting because I probably already forgot about him. But, yeah, for some reason, I'm always getting the holdout players. Just play the damn game. And also, Jerry Jones, sit off your mountain of gold and give that a little bit to your players. Damn it.
Fuck Jerry.